Have you ever worked really hard on a project and then stepped back and realized that it looks like this? Yeah, me too. More times than I can count, to be honest with you. In woodworking, making mistakes is normal. It's kind of part of the deal.
Ah, shit.
Especially when you're just starting out. I mean, it's pretty much how you learn and how you get better. So today, I'm sharing 5 beginner woodworking mistakes that I've made plenty of, so that you can avoid them completely, or at least be aware of them. And these tips will save you time, money, and frustration, which is kind of neat. And mistake number 4 alone cost me a few $100s, and it's a really easy mistake to avoid. You'll probably want to stick around for that. Mistake number 1, inaccurate measuring. And this one actually seems really simple, but it causes more frustration than almost anything else. And let's say you measure carefully, mark your length, then confidently make your cut. But somehow, they just don't line up. Even small measuring errors like 2 or 3 millimeters can cause a huge headaches when you're actually putting things together. And so, how do you actually avoid this? Well, here's a simple rule that saves me a ton of trouble. So let's say we want to mark 20 centimeters from that edge. And let's say we just mark it here. We make a nice line. And what we want to do is almost immediately put an arrow to the side that we actually want to keep and an X on the waste side. And this simple habit means that you know exactly where to cut without confusion. And I'm sure you're aware that every single blade has its thickness. And it does matter exactly where you place it, whether you will put it here, on the line, or on this side of the line. And in this case, you want to put it on the opposite side of that line, pretty much on the tooth. And make sure that you keep in mind the tooth and not actually this side of the blade, because there is a slight difference between the two. And not knowing exactly where you need to cut on that line risks that you will cut it in different places every single time. And that means that whatever piece you actually cut here will be different by 2 or 3 millimeters, so more or less the thickness of that blade, which, as you can imagine, it is a pain. Now, there's another quick measuring shortcut that you may have seen, and that is using the first cut board as a template for all of the other pieces. So effectively, you put it nice here and just make a line. A very nice and convenient shortcut. But there is a little bit of a trouble with that. Because you see, every single time you make that line, it's slightly different to the actual edge of that piece. And also, depending on how you put your pencil in, that line will be in a slightly different place. Let's say you make it on a 45-degree angle, it's slightly different to if you put it kind of high. Or if you use a pencil that's really sharp, it will be in a different place than the alternative. Or if you use a kind of a blunt one, it also will be in a different place. So I hope that you can see it quite well, but there's a kind of a difference between each one of those lines. And of course, if you're going for precision and you want to be a woodworker, then that slight difference is actually a huge pain in the ass. Because it means that you will have to bend things more, you'll have to sand more, and in general, things may not actually fit that well to one another. And so, if accuracy matters, what I recommend is to measure each board separately, which I know, it takes more time, but you can be a lot more sure that it's the right size than the alternative. And if you're a hobbyist, I'd say that matters a lot more than the speed of which you can make that line. So, to very quickly recap, mark clearly, keep your measurements consistent, and watch out for shortcuts. Trust me, your future self will thank you. Alright, measurement down, but mistake number 2 can actually be more common, and it can be quite dangerous as well. So, let's jump into it. And that is using the wrong or dual tools. And when you're just starting out, it's really tempting to grab whatever you have at hand to get the job done, especially when you don't actually have a lot of tools available. But that can cause a lot of frustration and it can be quite dangerous, especially if you don't maintain your tools properly. And if you're a beginner, let's face it, that's definitely the case, which is normal, by the way. That's part of learning. And let's say you're making a cut, in this case on a table saw, and it isn't going too well. I mean, the finish isn't ideal and you have to push it quite hard to actually cut it through. And that's your time to stop. And the golden rule is, if you're forcing it, something is off. Always let the tool do the work. And of course, one of the potential diagnostics is that your blade is dull. But sometimes, even after checking your blade and even changing it, you still have to push it through quite hard. And this can happen with a table saw, a jigsaw, router, any other tool for that matter. And you see, what's actually quite often happening is that fine dust and debris builds up on the base of your tool, creating friction and making it harder to glide your tool forward, or in case of the table saw, to glide the actual workpiece through. And this doesn't just affect the quality of your cut, but it also makes the tool actually harder to control, which, as you can imagine, isn't safe. And the good news is, it's a really easy fix. I mean, all you have to do is to clean it. I usually take a cleaner, in my case it's WD-40 and a cloth, and just wipe down the base. And you can now see the difference between this side and this side. And just a heads up, WD-40 can leave marks on your wood. And so a specialist paste like tool wax is actually much better. That is, if you have it on hand. But if you want a quick, budget-friendly tip, this thing works miracles. And quite often, if the cutting isn't going according to plan, that's very much the first thing I do. And it usually solves my problems. And mistake number 3, going easy on safety. And I know, safety isn't the most exciting topic, but trust me, woodworking becomes really difficult when you're sitting in an emergency room instead of your workshop. Or when your hands are so full of splinters that you're leaving blood stains everywhere, and you have to sand that piece of wood a lot longer than you would like. I've been there, sadly. And I recommend to always wear eye and ear protection. In my case, I'm using Bluetooth speakers with noise cancelling, which is actually super useful, because then I can just listen to my music instead of listening to nothing, I suppose. But seriously, there's nothing tough about having tinnitus or struggling to hear your loved ones talk because you let a table saw blast 100 decibels right into your ears. It's not really as fun as it sounds. And skip the long sleeves too, and only wear gloves if absolutely necessary. Loose clothing and spinning parts, they don't mix too well. And even when you're super cold, it's just not worth it. If a piece of fabric actually gets caught into a moving parts, likely you will lose whatever it's attached to. And that's not a pretty picture. But you see, the safety mistake that I see the most by far, and sometimes I'm guilty of it as well, and that is skipping a proper dust mask. You see, working outside or hooking up a shop vac to your tool, it doesn't really make you invincible. And the chances are, and I'm kind of going to stereotype my viewers here, you haven't got a proper industrial grade dust extraction system if you're watching this video. And every cut or sanding or whatever else you're doing is actually filling your lungs with more and more fine dust. And sadly, it's usually the stuff that you can't see that is actually doing the real damage. Same goes for chemicals and everything else. The point is, you only get one set of eyes, lungs and ears. You should probably treat them like they're priceless, because they kind of are. Mistake number 4. Taking on complex projects first. I mean, we all want to build impressive pieces. And you know what I mean, the kind of dining tables and dressers and chairs that make the people go, wow, god damn, that's nice. You see, there's a reason why those projects impress us. Because they are genuinely hard to do. They require a lot of skills and practice, which if you're a beginner, you haven't got there yet. And to be fair, I still catch myself doing this mistake. Picking projects way beyond my current skill level. And then wondering why it's so hard. And then this whole thing, instead of being an enjoyable hobby, turns into a frustrating nightmare of just making mistake after mistake. And so, here's my recommendation. Pick projects within or just above your current skill level so that you can challenge yourself. It's a great idea to challenge yourself, of course, but pick something that you can at least visualize doing from start to finish and pretty much every single step in between. That way, the woodworking will still be rewarding and challenging, which is kind of what we all want. And if you're just starting out, stick with softwoods, like pine in this case. They're affordable, easy to cut, and very forgivable when you make mistakes. And let's face it, you're gonna be making a lot of those. And it is much better to learn on an inexpensive wood than buying some exotic wood and just wasting half of it because you're making mistakes. Which, myself, I have done to some degree in the past, but in general, I'm sticking now with just pine. And make sure to stick with simple and reliable joining methods, like dowels, pocket screws, or even simple mechanical screws. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them if they do the job. You see, fancy joints are actually quite impressive, but I would argue that for the vast majority of the time, they're completely unnecessary, especially for beginners. Master the basics first and then move up in difficulty. And finally, mistake number 5 is rushing your work. And I get it. You're excited to finish, and you've been working on your piece for a long time, and it just feels like it's dragging, it's taking way too long. But be careful, because rushing can actually lead to sloppy work at best and dangerous mistakes at worst. And I'll be honest, I've done both. Sadly, good woodworking takes patience, and I'm not a particularly patient man. But always pause and think before you drill, cut or glue. And if you find yourself tired or frustrated or feel that you're rushing, that's your time to stop. It's time to step out of the workshop for a bit, grab some coffee, focus on something else, and then come back relaxed. Because those moments of frustrations are exactly where mistakes happen. When you're tense or hurried, you actually skip critical steps. You ruin materials and create joints that don't quite fit. You might be saving an hour here or an hour there, but in practice, you're actually risking days of additional work from preventable mistakes. It's just not worth it. I mean, remember, woodworking is about enjoying the process as much as your finished piece. Slow down, stay safe, and take those breaks. Your project and your sanity will thank you. And so, Here's a quick recap of the 5 beginner woodworking mistakes and how to avoid them. Measure twice and mark clearly. Always use the right tool for the job and sharp blades. Safety first. Gear up properly. Start simple and build your skills. And the last one, slow down. Quality takes patience. And remember, making mistakes is part of the woodworking journey. Even very experienced woodworkers make a lot of mistakes. They just learned how to hide them. That's the difference, I suppose. And believe me, I've made every single mistake on that list. But now, armed with this list, I hope that you can take your project to the next level. If you've enjoyed this video or found it helpful, make sure to subscribe and watch another one. And let me know in the comments which mistakes you've made, and perhaps whether you can recommend anything else for beginner woodworkers.